This is Don Ferguson. Welcome to Keys Dive Guide Volume 24 with guest star, treasure diver Sam McCamy. The galleons of the 1733 Spanish Armada, wrecked in relatively shallow water near the Florida Keys, stir images of gold doubloons, pieces of 8, and other Spanish riches. We're going to take a look at the various denominations of Spanish New World silver and gold coins. The coins of the treasure galleons carried from South and Central America to Cuba, then back to Spain for nearly 250 years. In 1545, silver was discovered in Peru, Bolivia, and Chile. Up to this time, all of Spain's precious metals from the New World were obtained by stealing it from the Aztecs, Mayans, or Incas. Now, enslaving the native population to work in the mines and refineries became the main method for the Spanish to obtain riches. After refining the raw ore, the silver was rolled and hammered into long bars of uniform thickness. The blanks for the coins were sliced off the end of the bar. These early Spanish coins were called cobs. The word cob is probably short for the Spanish phrase cabo de barra, which means end of the bar. The warm blanks were transformed into finished coins by striking a handheld die on the blank with a hammer, while the other side of the blank was impressed with a stationary die on the bottom. The finished coins were passed to the assayer, who clipped each coin so it would conform to a specific weight. This produced a coin that was totally irregular in shape. That's where the term rough as a cob originally came from. Not all cob coins were irregular. Gold cobs struck at the Lima Mint through the mid-1700s are nearly round like this beautiful gold 4 escudos. Also, almost perfectly round presentation pieces called royals were struck for the king. The Spanish word for silver is plata. Spanish silver cob coins came in 5 denominations: the 8 reals, the 4 reals, the 2 reals, the 1 real, and the half real. The quarter real denomination was not minted after the early 1600s. The 8 reals was also called a piece of 8. Weighing in at 27.2 grams, the Spanish called them onzas, which means ounce. The coat of arms for the houses of Castile and Leon are positioned inside the cross. Similar to an American silver dollar, this is the largest silver cob coin. In fact, Spanish cobs were legal tender in the United States and used extensively into the mid-1800s. All coins have 2 sides. The side with the cross of Jerusalem is named the reverse. This cross is the forerunner of the "In God We Trust" motto, common on paper and coin currency today. The other side of the coin with the shield of Habsburg is named the obverse. The shield of Habsburg represented all the lands controlled by the King of Spain. The mint mark P on this Atocha 8 reals stands for the Potosi Bolivia Mint, meaning that this silver ore came from Cerro Rico, or Rich Mountain, literally a mountain of silver high in the Andes nearby the town. Just below the P, the letter T denotes the assayer, Juan Jimenez de Tapia. All cob coins were 93.7% silver and contained traces of bronze to ensure hardness. The 8 reals is divided by the cross into 2 reals sections. Remember the high school cheer? 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1? Well, that silly old football cheer has its roots in the 8 reals coin. Similar to the 50-cent piece of our era, the 4 reals weighs 13.6 grams, exactly half of the 8 reals. The quality of this coin was degraded by silver sulfide, an incrustation that covers silver submerged in salt water. The silver sulfide has actually absorbed some of the silver in this 4 reals Atocha shipwreck coin, causing it to weigh 7.9 grams, 5.7 grams underweight. Similar to the quarter of our era, the 2 reals weighs 6.8 grams, exactly half of the 4 reals. The mint mark and the assayer's mark are the 2 most important inscriptions on the coin, guaranteeing the fineness of the bullion and the proper weight. The mint mark P indicates that this 2 reals was also struck in Potosi, Bolivia, the greatest source of silver for the Spanish in the Americas. The B stood for the assayer or mint master, Hernando Ballesteros. The assayer not only clipped the coins to achieve an accurate weight, he also tested batches of silver and random coins for purity. These 2 reals cob coins were part of Mel Fisher's Atocha trove, recovered in the quicksands near the Marquesas Keys, about 35 miles from Key West. Worth about 12.5 cents and weighing 3.4 grams, the 1 real was similar to the dime of our era. These 1 reals are of the pillar and waves design, nicknamed the tic-tac-toe style. The 1 on the obverse side indicates a 1 real. The legend of these coins is interesting. The pillars, each topped with a crown, represent the pillars of Hercules in Greek and Roman mythology, which are the Straits of Gibraltar that exist today. Through the middle of the coin, the faded Latin phrase plus ultra, which means more beyond, indicates Spain's dominance of the New World, which was more beyond the pillars of Hercules and the Atlantic Ocean represented on the coin. In Latin, the letter U is written as a V. The pillar and waves design was used at both the Potosi, Bolivia mint and the Lima, Peru mint. You can tell this coin was minted in Potosi, even though there's no mint mark, because the waves beneath the date are rising up, like a mountain, where Potosi is located. When the waves go down beneath the date, like this beautiful gold 4 escudos, the coin was minted in Lima, which is down closer to the ocean. Coins of this design were minted in Potosi from 1652 until 1773. The 3-digit date was used on all Potosi cobs from the 1700s onward. Most coins minted here in the 1600s only had 2-letter dates, like this 1678 8 reals, thus distinguishing the 2 centuries. The half real was worth about 6.25 cents and weighed 1.7 grams. Similar to the nickel of our era, they were called medios by the Spanish. These half real cobs are all poorly struck, which is common for coins of this denomination. Here's an exception. On the obverse of this unusual Potosi half real is the well-struck monogram of Philip V, the King of Spain for most of the first half of the 1700s. Thousands of these 1 real and half real silver cobs bearing 1732 and 1733 dates were recovered in the seaward track of San Pedro, a 1733 wreck site we visited in Volume 22 of Key's Dive Guide. Once in circulation, the weight of these cob coins became as irregular as the shape. The most insidious cause of irregular cob coin weight was the practice of shaving, also called fouling. Unscrupulous people would shave a little silver off of each coin with which they came in contact. To combat this theft against the value of their currency, in 1732 the Spanish developed a screw press to mint a uniform 8 reals coin. Massive weights on the ends of the press arm exerted tremendous pressure on the coin blanks, which were squeezed between the dies into near-perfect coins called pillar dollars. Notice the crisp detail on the reverse of this El Populo pillar dollar recovery. The king's crown is above a shield bearing the coat of arms for the houses of Castile and Leon. The coin translated from Latin reads, Philip V, by the grace of God, King of Spain and the Indies. The F denotes the assayer, the 8 is the denomination, the 8 reals. The obverse side of this coin translates, and we are one, a warning for Spain's enemies to stay away. Here we see the king's crown over 2 worlds, with the pillars of Hercules for which the coin is named on either side. Notice the scrolls going down each pillar. The left scroll says plus, and the right scroll says ultra. The scroll, wrapping around each pillar, is thought to be the origin of the dollar sign. The waves indicate the Atlantic Ocean that separates the Old World from the New World. This outstanding coin bears a 1732 date, an OM Mexico City mint mark, and features a milled edge, which discouraged shaving or fouling silver off the edge of the coins. Unlike the hand-struck cobs, each of these coins was uniform, with crisp legends and dates. When the 1733 Armada crashed aground, several of the galleons were carrying the first shipment of these pillar dollars back to Spain from the New World. Many people have the fantasy of an ancient shipwreck with a mountain of bright silver coins flooding out of a breach in her hull onto a white sandy ocean bottom. Actually, you'll never find a shiny silver coin in the ocean. As I indicated earlier, when silver is submerged in salt water, a chemical reaction begins. A grayish-black residue or incrustation forms on the outside of these silver coins that Art McKee is recovering, making them look like small charcoal briquettes. These encrusted coins from the 1715 fleet that sank near Fort Pierce, Florida, show traces of a light green in the incrustation from the copper-zinc alloy, called bronze, that was used in trace amounts to harden the silver. Bronze reacts with salt water to form a greenish patina like the one evident on this bronze bottom sheathing nail. You can also see traces of a green incrustation that escaped the restoration process in this 1733 1 real. Here's a couple of well-encrusted, unrestored coins recovered from El Sueco de Arizona, a 1733 shipwreck in the upcoming Volume 26 of Key's Dive Guide. The silver sulfide was removed from this La Almiranta 8 reals recovery in 1976 by heating it with a blowtorch, then gently tapping the incrustation to crumble most of it off the coin. After a short bath in 25% muriatic acid and water mix, this coin looked like it does now, nearly 40 years ago. Traces of silver sulfide remain on the coin even today. Probably the pocket change of one of 3 crewmen that did not survive La Almiranta's violent grounding. It's as if a centuries-old ghost reached out from the grave and handed me 8 reals. This coin only weighs 17.4 grams, 9.8 grams underweight for an 8 reals. The 9.8 grams was lost to the silver sulfide. If this coin had been left unrecovered, eventually the silver sulfide would have eaten through the entire coin, turning it into a worthless black powder. I'd like to welcome my friend Sam McCamy to the show. Sam has dived and worked the 1715 plate fleet. This summer, Sam is scheduled to dive the Atocha, Mel Fisher's famous treasure galleon of the 1622 Spanish Armada that sank nearby Key West. Sam has an amazing collection of Spanish gold cob coins and other treasures from the 1715 plate fleet and other shipwrecks.
Thanks, Don. Gold cob coins came in 4 denominations: the 8 escudos, the 4 escudos, the 2 escudos, and the 1 escudo. The Spanish word for gold is oro. The first gold cob coins of the New World were struck in 1622 at the Cartagena, Colombia Mint. All gold coins were considered doubloons. It took 16 pieces of 8 silver to equal 1 gold escudo. So, it would take 128 pieces of 8 silver to equal this 8 escudo gold cob. As with silver cobs, the side with the cross of Jerusalem is named the reverse side, while the shield side is the obverse. Gold cob coins were struck with more care than silver cob coins. Far fewer gold cob coins were minted than silver cobs. Gold coins were carried and traded by the well-to-do. Silver coins were used by the masses. Much of the silver and gold shipped from the Americas was in wedge, bar, and finger bullion, not cob coins. Also, many silver and gold cobs were melted down and reminted in Seville after they arrived in Spain. That's why nearly all examples of silver and gold cob coins in the numismatic market today have been recovered from shipwrecks. Unlike silver coins, gold coins do not become encrusted and retain their luster even after centuries of submersion in salt water. While some gold shipwreck coins may have stains from the trace amounts of bronze used as hardening agent, these gold coins from the 1715 fleet are as pristine today as they were when they were struck nearly 300 years ago. As with silver cobs, the most important marks are the mint mark and the assayer mark, guaranteeing the fineness of the bullion and the proper weight. The obverse of this 8 escudos features the OM Mexico City mint mark. Gold cobs were first struck at the Mexico City Mint in 1680. The assayer J was Jose Estaquillo de Leon. 4 gold fleur-de-lis adorn the inside of the cross on the reverse of this beautiful coin. This 4 escudos from La Luz wreck bears the mint mark L for Lima, Peru. The coat of arms for the houses of Castile and Leon grace the inside of the cross, which is quite similar to the legend on silver cobs. A solitary fleur-de-lis adorns the obverse, just above the denomination between the pillars of Hercules. Notice how the waves beneath the date go down, indicating the Lima mint. The assayer mark R stands for Jose Rodriguez de Caraza. The PVA initials through the middle of the coin are an abbreviation for Plus Ultra, indicating Spain's dominance of the New World territories. This 2 escudo gold coin was recovered from Nuestra Señora de Atocha, Mel Fisher's famous find. Even though the Atocha was the largest silver recovery in shipwreck history, there were only 126 gold coins found on the site. All those gold coins were thought to be pocket change of wealthy passengers that went down with the ship. This 1 escudo from the 1715 plate fleet was minted in Mexico City. The assayer J was Jose Estaquillo de Leon. Here we have an incredibly beautiful pair of gold filigree and emerald earrings recovered near the wreck of Nuestra Señora de la Luz, which means Our Lady of the Light in Spanish. La Luz went down in a terrible storm while taking on supplies near Montevideo, Uruguay in 1752. All on board perished in the disaster. These earrings were at the bottom of the ocean for nearly 250 years before recovery in the early 1990s. Amazingly, they are in perfect wearable condition and weigh 11.5 grams. We've saved a very impressive artifact for last. This beautiful rosary was also recovered from La Luz wreck site parameters. Her wreckage was strewn over a vast area of seafloor littered with the remains of many other ships. Since personal items would not be on the ship's manifest, it's just an educated guess that these incredible artifacts are from La Luz. This magnificent piece is 18 karat gold, original and complete, with natural Baroque pearls and the very large hanging rose-cut diamond. The length is 34 inches with an additional 4 inches for the crucifix and drop diamond. This rosary was probably the property of a high-ranking Catholic Church official who met his maker when La Luz exploded into the shallows. It is nothing short of a miracle that these earrings or this rosary survived.
I hope you've learned a few interesting facts about Spanish colonial gold and silver coins that the treasure galleons carried in their holds. Again, I'd like to thank my friend Sam McCamy for sharing his incredible coin collection and other shipwreck treasures with us. For the Keys Dive Guide channel exclusively on YouTube, this is Don Ferguson.